to that
Well,
end,
it's not easy to represent a genius correctly, and it's also terrifying, because genius is terrifying by definition. Um, Look, I think part of the advantage to Christianity is that it provides an outlet for that messianic urge. It it attempts to spiritualize it, right? Conduct your life, conduct the battle within yourself. So it's a real battle. It's a real struggle. It's maybe the ultimate struggle. It's a heroic mission. Get yourself under control. Integrate yourself. Get your house in order. That'll provide something that's sufficiently compelling if you do it seriously, so that ideology will look like it will pale as in comparison as an attraction. It just doesn't have the grandeur of that moral mission. Jung thought that any sufficient moral effort was an appropriate substitute for psychotherapy. It's a moral discipline. Moral discipline is the antidote to ideology. And I do think, to begin with, to some degree, that has to do with genuine discipline. That's order. It's like pick a discipline. And two of the chapters in Beyond Order are emphasize that. Is to begin with, you discipline yourself in some direction. At least you learn how to devote your forces to a single end that way. Well, then after you've got yourself under control, I derived some of this thinking from Nietzsche, because that was his developmental suggestion, right? Not only for individuals, but also for cultures. He thought that the European mind, so to speak, had disciplined itself by insisting that everything be explained under the rubric of Catholicism, essentially. Everything had to be explained using that one explanatory system. And then once the capacity to manage such explanations was put in place, then that capacity could be used to solve other problems, and those would be scientific problems, let's say. I think that's a viewpoint that Jung adopted and extended in his analysis of the emergence of science from alchemy. But I think the same thing applies in your own life. It's like, well, pick something that you can do, and then discipline yourself, and then see what happens next, because you'll change as a consequence of that. Something new will attract your interest. There'll be some different element of that discipline that you'll be compelled to develop. And the best way of doing that, I think, is, well, to note what you're interested in, what's meaningful to you, and also to, in some sense, purify your thought and your perception. And you do that mostly by deciding and practicing it's forbearance of deceit.
Yeah. Well, it seems as though, ideology is not entirely bound at all by political aisles.